Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Oh my goodness, aren't we living in some really interesting times? So if you've seen my previous video, you know that I'm jumping online to share this video with you guys just to help you to navigate your way through these really difficult and very interesting times at the moment. So before I dive into the information that I've received energetically over the last week, let me quickly introduce myself to you guys, especially if you guys don't know me. My name is Deepika Mystery, and since September 2019, I've been sharing energetic insights on a month-by-month basis. And this is really geared up for those of you that are quite practical, however, starting to develop this energetic, intuitive side to you, and you're looking for some practical guidance to help you to navigate your way through. So if that does sound like you, welcome, you're here at the right place. Right, there is a lot that is going on, and I have my little notes here on my music stand. I'm just going to dive in. There isn't much of a structure because a lot of this stuff is kind of overlapping each other. And I think the key message that I really want to say is that it doesn't matter who you are, where you are in the world, what it is that you are doing in this world. Each and every one of us is going to be affected with everything that's going on at the moment globally. And the thing that comes up the most is that each and every one of us are going to be experiencing the collective energy, so to speak, or the collective experience, if you want to call it that. And we will also be having our own individual experience. And I'm really going to focus on the individual experience here. And so the key thing for each and every one of us is to be able to determine what is it that we're experiencing when we're actually experiencing it. So we are going to be pushed to raise our level of self-awareness so that in each moment we can become more and more conscious of what is going on within us, because both the collective experience and the individual experience that we're all going to have is that it's not just something that's mental, it's not just something that's energetic, it's emotional and it's physical. So it's going to affect all our systems and it's going to affect it all at once. So the key thing is, that's what the really simple but very powerful question that's going to help you is this mine? Is what I'm experiencing, is it mine? Is this energy mine? Is this coming from within me? Right? Or is this something that I've picked up from outside? Is it something that I picked up from reading this news article or from reading this post on Facebook or Instagram? Is it something that I picked up from this person that I've been having a conversation with? Or is this mine? And it's really asking yourself that question throughout your day when you notice you're experiencing something that feels like it's either gripping you, or you're feeling overwhelmed by it, or you're just bursting at the seams. There's so much that is going on. So really use that question to determine where is it coming from. Okay, because the key thing is sometimes when it's a collective thing, we will drown in it as well. We can take that very personally, and it's almost like we are drowning in all these emotions, in all these thought patterns, and all these various different trauma patterns as well. So by determining if it's not yours, you can then easily shift your way out of that. So if you determine that it isn't yours, just kind of set the intention to say, okay, this isn't mine, so let's just release it. Let me release it from my body. Let me release it from my emotional system. Let me release it from my energetic system. Let me release it from my mental system. And you can you can maybe take 3 breaths, and each time you take an inhale, you kind of fill yourself up with your own energy. And each time you exhale, you can just imagine, okay, this isn't mine, I just release it. You know, this isn't mine, I just release it. And if you feel it in any part of your body, really call out that part of your body. So say something that you're feeling some sort of sensation in your chest, for example, just say, I release the sensation in my chest, and you exhale it. So use your breath to really kind of release this. And if that doesn't work, you know, go out. Many of us cannot go out. What you can do is just visualize that there's a tree behind you and you're supported by this tree. and you're nurtured by this tree, and it's a grounding effect, so you can release that. So that's the key thing. If you've determined that it's not yours and it's a collective thing, then do what you can to release it. Sometimes you might have to have a bath, sometimes you may have to have a shower, maybe if you can do some sort of physical movement in your house. Dancing is a great way. Putting some great music and dancing your way out of it is another great way. And you can use these tools as well for your individual processing as well. So be mindful of drowning in the collective energy that's going on, and do your best to raise your level of self-awareness, so then you can shift that. Because what's also that's really going on, that's really, really important right now, is your own individual experience. So there's a lot that is going on for a lot of us, which is around stuff that we haven't really dealt with, that is coming up, and really it's processing through us. So a good friend of mine messaged me, and he said that that he's been feeling anxiety in his chest, and that is very, very common. So he's not alone. I felt it. I know a number of my clients have felt it, and some of you guys also may be feeling it. So it's almost an overwhelming sense of anxiety. Some of it might be yours, some of it might be collective. So really use that tool to actually determine whether it is yours or the collective's. If it is yours and you determine it is yours, just sit with it. Really pay attention to what is the sensation in it. And for some of you guys, it might not actually be in your chest. It may be more in your solar plexus. So just pay attention to where exactly is what you're feeling in your body. Where is it exactly that you're feeling in your body? And then again, you can use a breath work to kind of release it. Or the other thing is just imagine that anxiety is in front of you and it's a person, and then start having a dialogue with that anxiety to say, hey, anxiety, where did you come from? Why are you here? What is your purpose? You know, what is the message that you have for me? How are you here to help me? And what can I do to alleviate you? You know, what is it that I need to do to release you? And the key thing here is not to judge it, is to be with it and to have a dialogue with it. And by having that dialogue with it, you will automatically start to process it. The tricky thing with all of this is that if you're someone that is not that aware, what is likely to happen is that you're going to start projecting your emotions onto people, right? So if you're feeling fear, you're going to feel afraid for someone. You're going to fear for their life. You're going to fear for themselves, and you might find yourself projecting your fear. So just become aware and ask yourself, am I projecting this, or am I not, because if you're projecting it, you're not actually dealing with what's going on within you. It's almost like you are copying out of your own internal work that is there right now, and an opportunity for you to actually do that. And trust me, it's not easy. So if you're struggling with it, just honor your struggle. Just say, hey, you know what? I am feeling all this stuff at the moment and I have no idea what to do with it or how to manage it. And just by you saying that to yourself and being honest with it, you can then take the next step to then reach out to someone to ask them to support you, to hold that space for you. And it could be a friend, it could be a relative, it could be a family member, it could then be a coach or healer. And trust me, there are some incredibly amazing healers and coaches out there that have been doing this work for years and are so ripe and ready to help and serve you. So do not hesitate in reaching out. There are plenty of people there that have got the ability to support you. So do not shy away from that, and be aware of how you may be projecting your stuff. The other thing with this is that the sense of overwhelming sense of emotion that we may be experiencing, many of us will also be feeling sadness, loneliness, and with the sadness and loneliness, the way that I see that, I kind of see that it's almost like an empty sensation or a feeling that you don't feel quite right with yourself. So really just honor that, and again, determine where is it in your body, how are you experiencing it? Has it got a color? Has it got a texture? Is there a movement? Is it stuck? And again, create a dialogue with that. The other emotions that we will also be experiencing is this element of frustration and boredom. And so when I look at that energetically, a lot of that energy sits up here in our head. And it's really about us not really having control of what's going on in our world, of our external environment, and also our internal environment as well. So if you're feeling anger, frustration, and boredom, really kind of, ask yourself, what is it that I'm trying to control? What is it that I no longer have control of? And how is that making me feel? Because there's probably a vulnerability within that that's there for you to explore. And when I look at that energetically, it may be something where you feel a bit exposed or you feel a bit vulnerable. So really dive into that and take this as an opportunity to get comfortable with yourself and to get to know yourself on a whole new level. If you're also experiencing fear and scarcity, there's a lot of fear and scarcity that is going around at the moment on a collective level. And you will also potentially have that internally as well. So I did do a post, and I will share the link at the bottom of this video as well. But what is behind that fear? What is the root cause of that fear? And really take time again to talk to the fear. Do not judge the fear. And some of you guys may also be judging other people that are afraid, right? And if you find yourself that you're one of those people that's judging people that are afraid, actually take a moment and just say, well, why am I judging them? Am I judging them because I also have that fear? Am I being skeptical? So it's always coming back to yourself. So be mindful if you find yourself judging people for the way that they're being, really bring that back into yourself and ask yourself, why are you judging them? Because there's probably a clue there for yourself that there's something that's unresolved within yourself. So this is a great opportunity to kind of explore that. So there's another element of this, which is pretty huge. And I'm not sure how much of that I can actually go into, but I'll try my best to go into it as much as possible. There was a post that I shared a couple of days ago, which is around your inner demons, unresolved wounds and trauma patterns. So if you're someone that, because there's a lot of collective trauma that is there at the moment that many of us will be feeling and probably feeding and absorbing, but there's also some of us will also have our own individual inner demons, traumas and wounds. So if you're someone that's kind of feeling a little bit unsettled or feeling that you can't be in your skin and you want to jump out, this is a time to actually, if you can, come back into your body rather than jumping out. And it's probably a good time for you to work with someone that can help you with that process, because if we have had traumas from the past traumas and wounds and stuff, it's difficult for us to actually be in our body. But part of the healing happens when we are actually in the body. So you may need some extra support in working with a therapist, someone that's done some trauma work, or a coach or an energy healer to help you to kind of release those trauma patterns if you're unable to do it yourself. If you want to try to do it yourself, grounding is really key. Really grounding yourself into it and becoming aware when you've kind of checked out of your body. And really, you can also use the same technique of dialoguing with the part that has actually checked out and seeing why they've actually checked out. And for many of us, it would be like our inner child that would have checked out while we're experiencing this. So what you will also find if you are dealing, if trauma and the wounds are coming up for you, you will find yourself maybe being a little bit more scatty, maybe looking for something to distract you, whether you want to dive into some more work, or you're diving into somebody else's business, or you're distracting yourself with talking to loads of other people, or being around, well, as much as you possibly can be around people, based on the lockdowns that we're all kind of experiencing. You'll be itching to kind of distract yourself with someone. So if that sounds like you, just be aware that there may be something that needs to be processed and that's coming up for you in that. There are so many other things. I'm just conscious of the time because it's like almost 15 minutes. This is 15 minutes now. So I just want to wrap this up. And I would say really is up your self-care regime. Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you don't even have a self-care regime or program or practice, make sure you put one in place. And it's really about, you know, one of the key things, if you don't have a self-care practice, that the easiest thing that you can do on a day-to-day basis is ask yourself, what support do I need mentally? What support do I need emotionally? What support do I need energetically? What support do I need physically? And you can then ask, you know, what does my heart need? What is my heart feeling? And just by sitting with those questions, you can incorporate that into your self-care practice, or start your self-care practice with that. If you're somebody that's already got a self-care practice, like if you're like me, part of my self-care was swimming and Pilates. Now both of those things are being taken away from me. So I'm working on something to say, so what can I do at home? How can I move my body at home? So that could be dancing to music, and I dance really badly. So dancing to music, it's also, I have a yoga mat, so I'm gonna do some planks, for example. I've ordered some weights. So I'm going to start doing some different types of exercises just to keep my body moving. So this is an opportunity to get creative, to try new things and do new things. And, you know, candles are great, essential oils are great, baths are great. All of these things you can actually do at home. So it's almost like you've got to sit with yourself and ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? And you might find what works for you today may not work for you tomorrow. And things are moving super, super fast. So always constantly check in with yourself, is ask yourself, what do I need to take care of myself today? Okay. And one final thing I think that's really going to help us all is gratitude. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. What are you grateful for? And it could just be the meal that you had. It could be the glass of water that you had. It could be that the fact that you have family around you, because there are so many of us that, including myself, that, you know, we live alone. So we are even more isolated. And I know some of my friends are really struggling with that. So be grateful for whatever it is that you have in this moment, because by bringing in the energy of gratitude, it's really going to up your vibration, and it's going to help you to get through these times at the moment. So I really hope that has helped you. There is another piece here around the heart energy opening up, which I shared a post on the other day, which I might also do just a separate video on that, because it's a much bigger piece. There's a lot going on there as well. If you have any questions, or if you need any support, please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can comment below or send me a personal DM. And what I will do is I'll either get back to you personally, or if I feel that that is something that's a question or something that you need support in that's going to help a bigger group of people, then I will do a video like this and share that video. So please take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and do ask for help if you need help, because there's so many of us that are ready to help serve you. Take care, and thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in about a week and a bit's time for the April Energetic Insights. Bye bye now.